just a minute. I'll be on the show.
We're ready?
As soon as this is over.
Okay. Hi everyone.
Here.
Sneak over here. We're sitting here today at the Bnet radio station studios. We're here today with Ilsa Garcia. She is the board chair for NHPO. So if you tuned in last week, everything that you're watching on the live stream is really the behind the scenes. If you're listening on the app, then you're probably not watching this live stream. But so when you're listening on the app, you can't really see everything that's going on behind the scenes. So that was kind of the concept behind the live stream. So you hear the backdoor conversations that we're having, and we'll try to behave. Thanks for tuning in. If you need to step away from your desk and you can't watch us, please download the Bnet app for free on Google and Apple iTunes.
That's exciting. I love this.
Huh? You missed the music.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, there's approximately about 160, 175,000 people listening to this around the
Wow, amazing. They're going to hear my Mickey Mouse voice. How
No, it
fun
wasn't
is
Mickey
that?
You'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Oh, we're fine? Okay. That's awesome. That's a great viewership. That is. What a great segment. Has Hot Topics always been around? Or?
No, we just started it last Thursday.
Okay.
You're our first guest.
Yay!
It's going to be on here probably next week, or Michael Kubash, or one of them, even Dan.
Was
A minute and 20
I don't know
seconds.
who's tuning in.
Get Robert in because he wants to run this guy.
Oh, you're good?
Yeah.
Who wants to do it?
They want to do the statue situation.
Talk about it.
It's a good
they do.
That'll be a good thing.
So Ilsa, while we're waiting, you're also on the Go Tejano committee for
Yes,
the
I am.
Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. So you guys listen to Tejano all the time, right?
We listen to Tejano all the time, which is a great music. I mean, this is the staple of here in Houston. I mean, Tejano, I remember going to concerts when I was younger, see Emilio Navaira, Selena, of course, broke all records at the rodeo. And so we at Go Tejano, we still, even though on Go Tejano Day, we may not have Tejano music because actually Go Tejano Day is named after Go Texan. In Spanish,
30
it's Go
seconds.
Tejano. So we do have a matter of fundraising events. All groups are Tejano music.
Thank you, Ilsa. We're about to get started, guys. And make sure you speak into the mic when you're talking.
Bnet Radio, a vital force in the China music industry. You're on the Beyond D show. Actually, it's Hot Topics right now. We got a whole studio full of guests. Let's see who's going to start it off. You going to start it off?
Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in to Hot Topics. I am Sonia Rivera, and here with my co-host Ralph Cooper. He's rather tall.
Oh, no problem. I've been short before, and it's great to be here. Thank you.
So thank you, and we also have a special guest, Ilsa Garcia, which is the Houston chairwoman for NHPO. It is NHPO stands for the National Hispanic Professional Organization, and it's been around since 2004. And they do a lot of great things for Hispanic professionals. So I'll let her speak really quick about what they do.
Thank you so much, and thank you everybody out there and who is listening to us today. Like Sonia said, it is since 2004, and you're one of the founders of the National Hispanic Professional Organization known as NHPO Houston, here in Houston. And we have a few branches that are still out there as NHPO Rio Grande Valley, which is here in Texas, and we are trying to form more. But what we do, our mission is to really connect with our city. As you can see, all of you who are here in the studio know that there's so many resources here in Houston, but a lot of people don't know how to get to them. So when you come to our networking event, we are the ones to help you connect to these resources here in Houston. And from finding a job, opening up a small business, highlighting your business, promoting you, or anything that you would need, come to our networking events. Unfortunately, right now, due to COVID-19, we are not networking, but you can find us at our live shows every Tuesday and Thursday where we highlight our members, and we also provide you with resources for food, for job opportunities. We're still connecting you virtually, and it has been quite an exciting time for us, even though we're going through this, but it's been very great because we have been able to connect so many people.
Yeah, you've really been innovative in bringing NHPO, keeping NHPO in the forefront while we've been shut down. And just for those of you that don't know, when NHPO started, everybody had their own group. Like there was your realtor professionals, there was your insurance professionals, there was different groups, but it was very segmented. So there was no organization that was bringing everybody together so that you can actually try to get some business and promote your product. The other thing is that because it was initially started, our founders were all Hispanic, and we named it the National Hispanic Professional Organization, but it is open to everybody. And you remember a few years ago, we had a really awesome event that was called Salsa, Sake, and Soul,
Yes.
which is actually with the Greater Houston Black Chamber, if I'm not mistaken, NHPO, and the Asian Chamber. And it was such a cool event. You were there, right?
I was there, and we continue to do that, Sonia. You were the trailblazer when it came to that, and connecting people, connecting the chambers and other organizations, and we've kept that up now for a few years now, where we incorporate many professions, but what we really love to do is cross with other organizations, because as I've said it before many times, if your organization has 2,000 members, we have 2,000 members, and another one has 2,000 members. Look at the power in numbers, and when we all come together, all these amazing and creative things happen. And not only that, you're connecting to 2,000, 100, 400 people, and now your network has become bigger from when you started.
Yeah, and that's actually what we're trying to accomplish with the show here, right, Ralph? I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
that's the whole point.
Right, and it's great to hear all this information that we're sharing today. Let me give you a quick sports update right quick. No baseball at this time. They're still negotiating. They're still negotiating in regards to the NBA, and the colleges have got a date that they can start, but the University of Texas has 13 football players down with the virus.
Oh, wow.
So you have to wonder, and then you have some of the black college classic football games they have every year. They're not having them. The early ones have been wiped out already. They've already been canceled. So a lot of things are happening in sports. The high schools letting the kids back on the campus. I think over at Alston, Yates High School, they can practice outside, but no inside workouts at this time. So I wanted to get that in also.
Well, no, before you pass, so I'm glad you said that, because that's one of the things that connects all communities, right, is
Right.
sports. It's
Right.
like, there's no divisiveness when it comes to like, the Hispanics sit here and the blacks sit here and vice versa. It's like sports brings all of us together, as does music. So it's such a great platform that we're trying to create.
And Dave and I, we're going to go down to Minute Maid Park. They've opened the park back up. We can
All
go down
right.
and visit. We may take Art with us, but we're going to go down to the park and just walk around and sit in the seats and think about what used to be.
Is there no girls allowed, or because you said Art and Dave
Girls,
and
girls are always allowed.
Oh, okay.
That's where we're from. Am
Because
I
I
right,
noticed-
Dave?
We'll find a way.
because I noticed we didn't get the invite.
No,
so-
hey, don't even ask. You're invited.
I'm
okay?
there.
Yeah, okay.
So when did we find out about the Astros?
It could be any time this week. You've got the players group negotiating for the players, and then you've got the commissioner for the owners. So they're at least they're still talking. They're talking about either 60 games or 75 games.
So on behalf of all of our listeners, we want to beg management to please let us have baseball. Let us have some ray of sunshine in this crazy year.
And we want to congratulate the Cruz family. Trio Cruz has been drafted. Yeah, he's been drafted and signed. So they've got money. If you see the Cruzes, you see any of the Cruzes, and you see a new ride or some new suits, hey, they've got new money. He signed with Detroit, if I'm correct. So we want to congratulate the Cruz family, Jose Cruz and family.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Yes. And you're a big Astros fan too,
I
right?
try to be a fan of something. I'm not huge when it comes to sports. Those that know me actually make fun of me because I do not know a lot of sports. But you know what? You have to know what's going on in your city.
Yeah.
So if we have to know everything about the Texans. We have to know about the Astros, the Dynamo, and Dash. Everyone who is in Houston, we have to know because that is part of our networking. If you believe it or not, because we hold events at Minute Maid. We hold events at Dynamo Stadium. And so we take our networking to these, because, not everybody in our networking is about suit and ties.
Right.
We get a lot of sports fanatics and they're like, so when are you going to have a little networking? And so when we throw networking events, say at Dynamo Stadium, people are more relaxed and they're more open. And it's like their thing. They're like, there's always all these rivalries, which I find very funny at times. But because I'm not this huge sports person, and they're like, oh, the Texans and Cowboys, and I'm like, there's just network.
At the football game, she's like, "Go Astros!"
But we get it done.
Yeah, and we have a lot of fun.
And I want you're with the rodeo, right?
Yes, I am.
And we want to congratulate the rodeo on something they did that many thought they would not do, or they're about to do. They're giving the scholarships to the youngsters.
Awesome.
Although the rodeo was cut short, they're still going to give millions of dollars in scholarships to worthy students who are looking forward to going off to college.
And they did. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes. The Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo has already awarded their scholarships. They work behind a year. So what happened will not affect the students that were receiving the scholarships until next year.
Oh, wow.
And so they do have a backup. But again, we applaud the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo for continuing on their mission to help students attend college.
And so Juan Garcia, which is the former chair, he was term limited, so he's no longer the chair for the Go Tejano committee, but he recently got promoted to
Vice President.
Vice President.
Yes. So our current chair is Thomas Lewis, who has been with the rodeo for many years with the Go Tejano committee. So congratulations to Thomas. He's a great leader. And along with him will come a whole set of new vice chairmen to throw our fundraising events, which start off with the fashion show, which is what I am in charge of. And then we go on to the scholarship gala, mariachi invitational, and the golf tournament. With all that, last year, the Go Tejano committee awarded 22 scholarships, each of $20,000 to our students in our community.
So Juan and Thomas, if you're not listening and tuning in, make sure you do so next time, because we just gave you a big shout out. Ilsa, tell the people how they can get a hold of you for NHPO and as well as the rodeo, the Go Tejano.
Well, great. Yes, you can get a hold of me. Basically, I'm everywhere on social media. I made that I on purpose, right? You can contact me through NHPO, exactly the way it is, NHPO Houston. Give us a like on the page. Send me a message. You can also look for me on my personal pages under Ilsa, Ilsa Garcia. And it's a public page, so you're able to send me messages if you need any help. And with the rodeo as well, just contact me on my Facebook, and I'll be more than happy to get back with you. And join us on our NHPO live shows every Tuesday and Thursday by giving us a like on our page.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good. You got more time?
Yeah, about
3 minutes?
Yeah, well, we want to thank Bnet for having us here today, and our engineer, Mr. Bionde, and of course our super producer, who doesn't like to be mentioned, Art Lopez. We want to thank them. And then we want to, one of the things, they're bringing the spirit of the Confederacy statue into the African American Museum. Even my Hispanic friends are disappointed with that, trying to figure out why this move was made. We won't even go into what the black community is saying at this time in many cases, but they're moving the statue, the spirit of the Confederacy into that African American Museum site.
What's the explanation?
Well, probably money.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah. Probably money. Yeah, go ahead. Probably money. Am I right?
It could be. We need to find that out. We need to make sure what's going on. Again, like you said, it's always such a controversy when it comes to the city of Houston and many cities with everything going on. But I think that one of the best things we all need to do is always listen to what the city officials have to say, and that's where you make your determination of how you want to decide where to go, what to say, or what to do. Sometimes it's very hard because people jump into conclusions, and social media is so huge that somebody can post false statements, and then that you really makes people do things that out of passion or hate, or I think I always say and advocate for people to please listen, to please educate yourself, please find out the good, the bad, and then determine from there your decision on what you want to do.
Well, I want to commend the mayor over in Beaumont who said he didn't want, they didn't want one of those statues over in Beaumont. He came outright and said, "Don't bring it over here. We don't want it." So it was, I think, one of Dowling, the General Dowling or
General
whatever.
Dowling.
Yeah. So there's a lot of controversy, and we'll probably get more into that in a little bit. And so you got all these things happening. You celebrate Juneteenth?
Absolutely.
But the president said no one knew anything about Juneteenth until he talked about it. Can you believe that?
No, I don't believe that. I think Juneteenth has been a great tradition here, not only in the city of Houston, but everywhere. They have great celebrations along with many celebrations that we do, like September 16, like MLK, Columbus Day. I mean, there's many celebrations.
The next year, say he discovered, he made Cinco de Mayo famous.
Well,
Art actually made Cinco de Mayo famous.
Yeah.
I believe that. I believe that. But yeah, I mean, we have a lot of celebrations coming up, like Sonia was mentioning before the show, 4th of July, and many things that are celebrated here in the city of Houston, along with Pride Week, Pride Month. I apologize. And so there's many things that's going on in the city. I mean, even though we are with COVID-19 and all this going on, our spirit of celebrating still stays alive. If it's virtual or however you want to celebrate, stay safe, I always say.
Stay safe.
Stay safe.
All right, we're going to take a break here, do a little commercial, and play a song, and we're going to be back here on Hot Topics on Bnet Radio.
Well, thank you so much, Ilsa, for everything.
That was awesome.
Is there anything else? We're still streaming live, so is there
Stay if
anything
you
else you want to
we got
share?
Well, I just
throw out some topics.
thank you so much. I know, but just
Yeah,
I'm glad that you brought up that it's been such a controversy with the statues, and a lot of things this week on the news have really opened my eyes to a lot of things, from changing Miss Butterworth, from changing Aunt Jemima. I mean, these are staples that we grew up with,
They're part of history, for God's
their
sake.
history.
Yes.
But you know what? As time changes, I think a lot of companies also need to be sensitive and change with them. I mean, we have to roll forward. We have to move forward. We have to be more inventive. We cannot stay in the past. That's something I also advocate for, is always finding new ideas, new marketing ideas, new plans. Sometimes those work back in 20 years ago, but they may not work now. And the thing is to always target people to make your money, to get your business known.
Hang on just a second, hang on.
Stay around. You may find it to stay around.
Okay, I got to play this song because Ralph Cooper said he was going home if there wasn't a Selena song.
That's right.
So here's Selena, Dreaming of You on Bnet Radio.
Beautiful song.
It is.
I have
You
to
picked a
tell
good one, Dave.
It is a beautiful
You
song.
got lucky.
But yeah, that's basically it. Like, I feel that's going on. We just have to move with the times, and sometimes it's very racially done, and sometimes I feel that
Stay around. I got something else to
yeah,
ask you about that.
we all, I know, and I hate to sound like a beauty pageant contestant and say I want world peace, but sometimes you do have to take sometimes a higher road.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to not debate with hate. That is one of my biggest things, and do what you need to do to move forward.
Right. So stay around. Be cool.
Yeah.
So, you know me, I have to chuckle a little bit because I struggle with change. I like things that I'm used to, and I find my comfort zone and the things that I'm comfortable with. So it's a growing process, it's a learning process, and I appreciate what you say about people getting informed and learning what the issues are, and not just jumping to conclusions, because for some people it is difficult to change, and it is difficult to change your thought process and wrap your brain around different ideas. When Mrs. Butterworth, I don't know, I think she was around since before I was born.
Right.
So that's always been a staple, in our house, the Uncle Ben's rice, and so to see it repackaged, it's kind of, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, but it's been around all my life, so it's a little different to see it repackaged, but we do have to evolve. Society evolves, and we have to evolve with the times, and be sensitive to all cultures. However, I do have to say we have to be sensitive to all cultures, because there is this great movement, and tragically, George Floyd was murdered, and it's a terrible tragedy, and he's not the only one. There's been several other individuals that were murdered. But I do also want to call attention to our police officers that are out there, because I know so many of them, and we're all related to somebody that is either has a police officer in their family or knows someone. And they're really, really good people for the most part, and I hope that our communities are listening when we say that do not judge a whole department of men and women based on the horrible actions of those individuals that do have racial prejudices. These men and women are working really, really hard to keep us safe, and we cannot have safe communities without them. So congratulate them, because those that we know, the ones that we know, they're good officers, and unfortunately, because of the actions of the bad ones, their safety is at risk every day. I was trying to look up the number earlier as to how many officers have been murdered as a result of the protests.
Thank them for their service.
So we thank them for their service, and we appreciate you. And I do want to give a shout out to the organization of Houston Police Organization of Spanish-Speaking Officers, which graciously let me hang out with them and go to their meetings. And again, it's a great group of guys. They're actually one of the largest independent Hispanic police organizations in the state of Texas. They've been around almost 40 years. So I just wanted to give them a plug, because again, I know them and they're good people.
And you're right. And again, that's with everything. There's always that 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5 people that are the rotten apples, as people say they are. But don't always judge a whole organization just because of certain people that are not following what their oath was when they first began their career as policemen or whatever it is. They took an oath to protect, and unfortunately some people go another way, and these things happen. But again, educate yourself. Always educate yourself. Don't go with the flow of because sometimes it might not take you where you want to go. It may be a popular trend to go with one side, but if you educate yourself and know how you feel, then you choose the right way to go, whatever makes you happy at the end of the day.
What do you think, Ralph? We have, I think, like 45 seconds.
Yeah.
What do you think about the defunding of the police?
We have to have a police department, in my opinion. I'm like Herschel Walker to a degree. I'm not able to put everybody on a jet or fly them out of the country that do not want a police department, but we need a police department. So hopefully they'll get that all worked out, and we're going to see some police protests, and like both of you said, there's some great policemen out there also. Not just good ones, there's some great ones, but then again, they've got to make a move to get rid of the bad apples.
Absolutely.
All right, here we go.
You can hang around.
I'll hang around one more second.
All right, I don't want to hear anything more about it, Ralph.
You get an apple.
You
You get you a good red apple, a big juicy red apple. Thank you very much.
You got your silly.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
All
Hey,
right.
Ralph, so one of the things, July 14th is a runoff election, and historically during runoff elections we have very low voter turnout. So what are your thoughts? One of the biggest misconceptions that people have is that Hispanics don't vote. So what are your thoughts?
Well, and they say
Overall.
blacks don't vote either. So
Oh, really?
I think one of the things that would help if the candidates became a little bit more visible and would make some promises that they could keep. I think many people have given up on some of these politicians, unless you happen to be a relative of someone who's running for an office or a good friend. You tend to the others tend to stay away. So I think they need to. And whatever happened to being on a corner, sharing with people about, hey, I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna bring some businesses in if that's what you're going to do. Whatever happened to some of those type things. So I think the candidates have to be a little bit more visible, and then we need some young talent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good that many miss Ed Emmett. Now you have Commissioner Hidalgo there. So it's good to see some young blood, in my opinion, coming up also.
Sure.
Yeah, and I know you agree.
I agree. And Sonia, before you leave, we also have a lot of viewers on our NHPO page. And one of them asked us, and this is Clarissa Thatcher, I think that is her name. If I have it wrong, I apologize. But she's asking us to, it is Clarissa, yes, Thatcher, and she's asking us to please talk about the victory that was done today with the DACA and Dreamers, and the fact that, you know, they're here to stay, and how exciting. There's many out there, our viewers, and a lot of professionals that come to our events that are DACA recipients. And I want to say congratulations to them for this amazing win. You are amazing people, all of you that have gone through DACA, that are dreamers. Continue dreaming, continue moving forward. You got this, and not only do you got this, today was signed that you got this, and so we're so happy. Can you talk a little bit about that for our viewers that are out there?
Most people know I'm conservative, so it's a very difficult subject, but I do want to educate again, take a shot at it, because what we need to understand is DACA students, these young people, were brought here through no choice of their own, when they were babies, when they were 1 year old, 5 years old, whatever it was, but they were children. And this is the only country that most of these individuals have ever known. So a lot of people say, send them back, they're illegal, they're here illegally, but how justifiable, how can we justify doing that if they are productive citizens? I do think that there has to be rules, which there are rules in place. You know, they have to go to school, they have to not get in trouble. So I'm saying this for my conservative friends. There are rules that for them to be able to stay. They cannot break the law. They do have to seek gainful employment. They do have to seek an education. And but so nothing's free. You know, they have to work for it, and they have to be productive. And the Supreme Court ruled today that they get to stay. So congratulations.
Right. Congratulations to all the DACA recipients and dreamers. Again, I cannot say it enough. You are productive. You are great. And continue striving forward. This is only the beginning, and keep on fighting forward. Congratulations.
And I'll take it personally. It was a big win. The president got defeated in this one, 5-4. Many people thought this would go the other way, but this was huge. And again, you watch some families that have been destroyed because of this. The father or whatever may have been sent back home or whatever. The families were broken up. So this is really great that the president, the man who made Juneteenth, I'll go back. You all watch out now, because he said he made Cinco de Mayo famous before it's over. So anyway, I'm glad to see him come down with a defeat.
Yeah. Well, you know, I think that you made me lose my train of thought with thinking the tacos. In everybody's defense, the immigration system has been broken for a very long time. And so I don't just blame the president, I blame all of our legislators, because my grandmother was actually amnestied in the Reagan administration. And back then, I guess, you know, they were granting work visas. And so she had a work visa, and her and my aunt and uncle, you know, immigrated to the United States and were productive citizens, and you know, went on to have all productive grandchildren. So I don't know how many are in our family now, but we all work, and we're all educated individuals, and so, you know, immigration is a healthy thing. We do have to secure our borders, though. We do have to make sure that our borders are secure and are not just, you know, we can't have open borders. We have to know who's coming in and out. Are you going to argue with me?
But do you take monies from other parts of the government that are helping people to build your wall? See, this is what I'm talking. What has the wall really changed? Do you think the wall has worked?
Well, I don't know what I don't know what the status of its completion is, but I guess I've seen you know, various comments on we lock our doors to keep the bad people out. So, you know, I understand that concept for the perspective of the wall, that we have to have secure borders, and you know, whether that's the right answer or not, I could not give you an educated response on that. But I know that every individual, I don't know anybody in Houston that goes to bed at night without locking their doors. So we have to lock our borders and have some kind of safety measures. Whether that's the right answer, I can't tell you,
but unless people locking their doors now, unless people doing that now, since the wall has been up. I don't see any impact of the wall. Maybe there is, but I don't see it. I'm trying to figure it out. All I know is that some monies went that way that could have gone in another way to help a lot of people.
Well, again, I think it goes back to our legislators, and it goes back to voting and back to July 14th, guys, that if you're not already registered to vote, you won't be able to vote that day. But if you are registered to vote, you need to read up on your legislators and stop voting for the comadre or the vecina just because they've always been there. We need to really look into people's records, voting records, and see what have you accomplished in your 25 years that you've been in office, way too long for. Or have you accomplished something? And I'm sorry, I gotta get this off my chest. So you were talking about, we don't see them in our communities, and I agree with you on that. I am so done with politicians pandering to our communities. I don't know if I mentioned the last week that I ran for office last year, and every time I would go to places that I usually frequent, that I've worked hard in, the communities that I've worked hard in, and I see these politicians showing up because they want their vote. I'm like, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? Because you know that after the election, you're not going to show your face around here for another 4 years.
Right. And I don't know what they do in the Hispanic community. I mean, they come into the black neighborhoods, they give away chicken and barbecue. Maybe they give away tacos and enchiladas or whatever.
Sure.
But then you don't see them again until it's time for them to run again.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm talking about. I'm like you, we've got to hold these people accountable.
Exactly.
We want more than, you want more than just chicken. And you want more than some barbecue. You want to see some buildings going up where some jobs are created, and we can, see people doing well.
Well, we want change, and I'll go back to the immigration system. It's been broken since 45 years ago. I can't recall how long ago it's been since Reagan was the president, but you mean to tell me that our legislators in 40 years have not been able to come together and come to a conclusion on how to handle immigration? It's broken because they choose to keep it broken.
No accountability.
Okay, well,
I'm getting in trouble here.
Well, the thing is, for me, as far as when it comes to voting, and I'll just put in my 2 cents before I leave, just to vote. I actually, on all my social media postings, I ask people to please vote, because no matter, I appreciate the protesting, because when we're passionate, we want to go out there and make our voice heard. But let me tell you something, where you make the actual change is in those polls, in those ballots. Inform yourself, get the candidate. If you're tired of the current candidate that we have, the current president, then you know what? You're tired of him. That's fine. Come and vote with me on November the 3rd, and let's do it. Let's make the changes that you want to see. You want to see the change. You make the change. It's no joke when we say that your voice is your vote. Tu voz es tu voto. I mean, it's the realities of it. In my Hispanic community, let's vote. Let's get together. If you don't like any of them, okay, but you need to vote. Don't throw that vote away. People have died because of voting. People have fought to vote. So it's a long lineage of voting. Vote. Just make your decision. Vote. Don't throw away your vote. If you want to see changes happen, they don't happen in the streets. They don't happen, at a coffee shop. They happen at the polls. They happen when you cast your ballot. And then we go from there, and we make things happen. We make things happen. So that's where I'm at when it comes to voting, because you cannot debate. She's a conservative, I'm a Democrat, he's a conservative, he's a Democrat. We all have different ideas, but guess what? We're all here in one room right now, and we're all true friends. But at the same time, we all have these ideas. But one of the things that we can all agree on is that you need to vote. Stop arguing, vote. Vote, vote, vote. Get your kid. If it's 18, register him to vote. Don't sit there, and please do not be upset when things do not go your way because you did not vote. So my always advice, vote. Please vote. Please, please, please vote. Don't throw away your votes, please.
Thank you, Ilsa.
That was my 2 cents.
And see, again, I admire you all for your thoughts. And this is really, other than coming here to listen to Selena and to share ideas, the other thing is to share these ideas. There's talk of Joe Biden having a female on his ticket. Do you really think a female can running with Joe Biden can defeat Donald Trump?
Go ahead.
Unfortunately, a lot of people vote according to what, you know, we want to see a woman in the White House, and we touched on it a little bit last week, and
Right.
I think that we need to do better. I think that we need to vote for the most qualified individual, regardless of who you think that is. Please educate yourself, because your vote is important. But one of our common disagreements or common discussion items is, what's worse, somebody who doesn't vote or somebody who votes without knowledge of the issues? So, and you really, I mean, what is worse? Or what, you know, we want people to vote, but we want you to vote intelligently. Don't vote for somebody because of the color of their skin, because of their race, because of their party. Vote for them because they are a qualified individual who is going to represent you and not just pander to you when it's election time.
But you would, I mean, being a woman, you would feel
No.
great seeing a woman there, right?
If she's qualified, but not if she's not qualified. I don't vote for people that are unqualified for the
Well,
job.
I'm all for women. I am. Listen, I think it's time. Open the door for us. We're no longer just the first ladies, or seen as the first ladies. You know, a woman can run this country. It was run before. I mean, you got to think about it. The presidents that come before, these women had a lot of input. I read books on the first ladies that wrote. They basically, if you read a book, say for example Laura Bush, I read her memoir, and she had a lot of input in what to do in this country. And you know, because men in general will discuss with their spouses a lot of things and get their ideas, and in turn they turn around, because they were the leaders of the country, and used it. But when in reality it came from the first lady, or you know, advice from a woman. I think we're ready. Let's do it. We need it. We need to see this. We need to see a lady in power. You know, we are so empowered, guys. We work hard as women, not only as mothers, not only as daughters, or you know, in our profession, but we can run a country, and I would love to see that. I would love to see it. But you're right, it has to be a qualified person, you know. And I will not get into any more of it, because you know, and I guess what I'm going to say, I'm just going to say it, but let's listen to this. We have a person in power that they put on there who was in the entertainment business, who never once was in politics, but he's there. And so, yeah, apparently a lot of people did not see that. The qualifications when it came to foreign affairs, when it came to, he was not knowledgeable of that. So guess what? You know, a lot of people did not vote with knowledge when it came to that. They just kind of went with it. But let's look at it this way. You're right. We need somebody who is intelligent, and we need to vote intelligent as the citizens of this country. We do need to do it, but I would love to see a woman in power. I mean, we're already in power many of the times, but you know, let's take it that step forward to the White House.
So it's interesting you say that, because in the Aztec culture, the wives of the king, they were called kingmakers.
Kingmakers.
They were called kingmakers because the women were, you know, had to support their husbands and make sure that, you know, they were healthy and clean, and you know, that they were wearing the right loincloth that day. And
Yes, no.
But like you said, behind the scenes, you know, there's a lot of discussions between, you know, wives and husbands behind the scenes. So yeah, you know, and this is the beauty of this show, is that we all have our different perspectives. So the most important thing is that our communities recognize, whether it's black, brown, white, whatever color we are, that we get smart about voting, and that we come together, because there is power in your voice. And so this is a Tejano radio station. There's my understanding is over 750,000 listeners. So if every one of those listeners impacts 10 to 20 or more friends and family, imagine the power in your voice. The Hispanic community is called the unempowered majority, because we are now the majority minority in the United States, but we remain unempowered because we don't exercise our right to vote, because we don't get involved, we don't support each other. To find a qualified individual, we need to be doing grassroots things and nurturing people politically, nurturing people's desire to get involved in politics. And I promise you, I was one of those people that 20 years ago, I'm like, oh, I hate politics. And then it really, even NHPO's politics, you know, and it took me a long time to reconcile that Every day is politics. You're practicing politics in your household when you're deciding what you're going to have for dinner. You know, you got one kid that wants, arroz con pollo, and you got another kid that wants chicken, and so, fried chicken, so.
But you have some of the same problems, some of the same things being said in both of our communities.
Yeah.
We're not doing enough. The politicians are not working hard enough for us. We need more improved schools. The same type of situation seems to be ongoing in both communities. In your opinions, do you think the gap is now wider between the Hispanic community and the Black community, or is it closer?
I don't think it's wider, but that's my opinion. And perhaps because I work with everyone and I like Ilsa said earlier, can't we just, we all need to get along, and we, sounds kind of utopic, but we do want peace, and we share a lot of the same issues. It's the schools in our communities that are underfunded, are underfunded, and substandard education in our schools, and nobody cares. I mean, this is something we've been fighting for over 20 years, and that's something I hope we touch on in a little bit, actually, because everybody, when they were talking about defunding the police, they were like, let's put the money into education, which the city has no control over education. But TA's been really quiet. TEA has not said a word, because remember, they were going to take over the HISD school district, and we've heard crickets from HISD and TEA. So if we want change for our children and we want a better life for our children, we need to really focus on what's going on in our inner city schools. So I think that we share so much in our communities. I don't see the divide from that perspective, because we both, all of our lower income communities have been neglected for far too long.
And I to answer that question for you, I'm glad that you asked that, because I don't see, not to overlook anything that has happened, but if we look at the protests that we saw here last week or a few weeks ago, I saw not only the Hispanic community, the brown, the black, the white, everybody came together for one thing, and that was the passion that they felt for the injustice. And so when you see things like that, you're like, it no longer becomes the browns, the black, or lives matter. It becomes a whole coalition of helping. And anytime I think that something like this has happened, say in the Black community, the other communities have jumped in to support. Something like that has happened in the Hispanic community, and we see them come together and help us. And even through Harvey and disasters, natural disasters, you see this. You see people come together. Like, we no longer look at the barrier of our color, but only we become humans in the eyes of everybody. Like, I would not pass a person who needs food and not give it to them because they're black, because they're white, or because they're Asian. No way, because we're all humans. And I know sometimes I sound like rainbows and unicorns and things like that, but the reality is, if you don't think like that, you don't think like that, then you become desensitized to the problems around you. You become like a person that it's cold. Oh, well, whatever, they're gonna make it. No, you cannot do that. As a community leader like you and everybody here, you have to be the one to say, this person needs help. I may not have the money, and I say this all the time, I may not have the money to help everybody, but what we do have is connections, and I think you know that. I can send you to somebody that can help you or help your family. And I think that is the main topic during these times, is always extending a hand to the communities. And I don't even call them the Black community, the Asian community. I call them the friends.
But I ask, and I've answered this question to some of my friends who happen to be white males, and they say, what do you people want? I mean, city council and the mayor's jobs, at one time those were all jobs held by white males. Now they tell me, they say, hey, you all over the place. Look at Hispanics and the black. What do you all want? I mean, how would you answer that question? What would you tell them if they ask you that question?
Well, let me just say, we only have one Hispanic on city council for, the majority of the population.
But they say you got the police chief, you got the fire. Go ahead.
Yes. Oh, I was waiting on you, Sonia. Well, you would tell them, I mean, what do we want? What do we want? I mean, we want what everybody has, what is just for you, what is we don't want injustice. We want what other communities have in the River Oaks area, and we live in the East End. We want that. Why can we not have that? Why can't we have good schools?
Right.
Why can't we have, why is it that you pass through a church at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning, and there's people making lines already to get a bag of groceries? Why is it that? Why? I don't get it. Because, we're all the same. We're all the same. We're all seeking. We all get up in the morning. Those that have jobs and are blessed to have jobs, we go to our jobs. We do the best that we can, but we still can't make it. Sometimes we just cannot make it. And you know what? I don't like to talk about, even though I don't like to talk about when people say, you know what, because other organizations bring you down. And because I get told a lot, because when you are the president or when we are a part of an organization, they say another organization will bring you down. I ignore it. You know why? Because that's not how I was raised. And that's how none of us were raised. In whatever community it is, if you're strong, you're going to go ahead and let them kind of step on you, but then you're going to step on that. All they're giving you is a platform to you to get to the top. And you know what? When you get to the top and you're clean from any bad doings or anything that you didn't have to run over people to get to the top, I think that's when you've made it. You really, really made it in this life.
Absolutely. Success is about going to bed with a clean conscience.
It is, every night.
I think we gotta go. So, absolutely right. And so, you touched on that we help each other when people need the help. And I remember with any flood, because we flood like regularly, right? Every couple of months, pretty much in Houston, if you're somewhere else. Houston floods all the time. Don't move here. We have a lot of people. But when we had Harvey and that was a horrible 500-year flood. People were rescuing people left and right. Nobody said, are you a Democrat? Are you a Republican? What color are you? What religion are you? Nobody did that. When people were drowning and stranded in their cars, or their babies were stranded, people were helping each other, and people were coming here from other states, other cities to help. And that's whether it's politics or any part of any aspect of our lives, we need to look at each other like that. We need to look at each other that people are people, and you are criticizing and condemning and bullying people because of their affiliations. You need to look at them like people, like you do when we're in a crisis. They're people.
And Sonia, not everybody's going to agree with you. And that's something that I think we need to just really briefly, not everyone will, and that's what makes this world go around. How boring will life would be if we all thought the same. Like, it would just be so boring in relationships, in home, anything. When somebody disagrees with you, it only gives you that platform. And don't change minds. Sometimes it's very hard to change a mind. Don't go with that intention, because that's where fights happen and debates happen, which are good. Healthy debates are the best. Respectful, exactly. I'm not here to change your mind. I am going to do what is best for me, my family, and my life. And I want you to do what's best for you, your family, and your life, and that's, in that way, sometimes I feel like that stops a lot of violence in this world. So it's okay to disagree.
Okay, we're going to take a break here and be back right after a commercial and another song on Bnet Radio.
Is it Selena?
Thank you so much for watching, everybody out there, and all your comments. Clarissa, thank you so much. And I love that, yes, it is okay to agree to disagree. Thank you so much for posting. Danny, thank you for watching. And all the members of NHPO, thank you for watching this live interview with Bnet Radio, Sonia Rivera, and all there we go, and all the other gentlemen that are here. Ralph, thank you so much. Art, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all on Tuesday. We will actually have a special show tomorrow with FIA Director Cesar, and he will talk about for those that do not understand the DACA decision for the Dreamers today, he will give an explanation along with an immigration attorney. See you tomorrow, see you Tuesday, see you Thursday. Happy Father's Day, and I'll be in touch with all of you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know.
Where's the tequila? Now you're really calling it.
I know.
This is really great. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
This is great discussion. I love it.
It was a good discussion.
So so much stuff.
She'll invite you back. You be back. Thank you.
So that's like,
Yeah.
thank you so much. It was nice.
No, I love Ilsa Garcia.
Thank you guys. Thank you always for keeping me in mind. Thank you so much.
Hey, man, I'm gonna take this.
Yeah, you are.
All right, I'm gonna take it with you.
For those of you still watching, Ralph Cooper is trying to
I'm gonna use that in a minute.
repossess,
No, I'm gonna use that in a minute. I'm gonna sit down with you for a few minutes.
repossess things that are in the studio here. Well, thank you. You know what? Next week I'm bringing an extra chair.
Oh, no
And
problem.
I am bringing an extra chair, and I'm like kind of doing a mental inventory of what we're gonna do here, and that with the props. So we do want to thank Ilsa Garcia. She's a very good friend, not only of mine, but to the community, to the business community. She's been very instrumental in keeping people together, and it was a great discussion. So I always appreciate. I haven't seen her in a long time. So
Thank you for bringing me.
thank you. Well, thanks. So Ralph, you're back. So let's talk about for our people that are listening in. What do you think about everything this week? We've had a lot of things happen.
My mind is still on the statue. the spirit of Confederacy coming into the African American Museum.
So
Can you believe that?
did they justify like why they're bringing it in? Are they going to have a
Well, you got all
storyline,
kind
or
of
is
things.
it?
Maybe they'll come out with more information.
Yeah.
But you got all kind of rumors out there that he's leasing some property there. The statue is leasing some property.
Gotcha.
So he's being rented out to stay there.
So it's always money.
It's always money.
I think that was in
it's
my
always
notes.
about money. Yeah.
That was in my notes.
Yeah.
Lifting the veil off corruption. So we always have to look. What social media is.
1 minute.
1 minute. Social media is such a powerful tool, and so many of us jump to conclusions, which again was one of the goals for doing this show, is that we wanted to really inform and educate people, and a respectful platform. And I really hope that you guys ask other people to join us, because it's a discussion that needs to be had, and there's so many issues that we're having. Nobody asks questions. There'll be times, and I'm sure you see it, when I post something and it's just a random thought that I'm having, and somebody goes in a way radical direction
30
with
seconds.
it that I wasn't even talking about. What do you think?
Well, that's life. You're going to get that. I mean,
Yeah.
people are going to go. They're going to disagree with you. Nobody's. Not all people are alike, so you're going to have a disagreement. But it's good to see the interaction taking place, in my opinion.
As
It's
long
good
as
to see
it's
people talking
respectful.
about it. Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it's good to see people talking about the issue.
That is Ruben Ramos, the Mexican Revolution on Bnet Radio, a vital force in the town and music industry. This afternoon, of course, it's Hot Topics, and we got some hot topics going. Who's going to take it first here?
Well, first of all, I want to see if you can do a grito. Can you do a grito?
No.
Ándale. How about you, Al?
No. Don't
Oh, come
try
on.
my
If
practice.
I did agree to it, I heard something.
Practicing it.
We're gonna work on that.
Okay.
Next time I'll have a margarita here for you.
Yeah. Art. Art. That's Art's specialty
Art's
too.
the grito.
Yeah.
So, what else is new? We talked
Well, I've got
about
a few
this
more
stuff.
minutes left, and so I see now where some of the other politicians are trying to get items of the Confederacy down in various places all over Texas. You've got students at Texas A&M, the University of Texas in Austin. They want to bring out the statues down. And it's going to be interesting to see where they wind up at. It's going to be interesting to see where they wind up, where these statues go.
You know what I do have a problem with is when people are defacing statues of our military, our veterans. I saw this morning that there was like some red tagging all over one of our veterans memorials, and that made me really sad, because my grandfather was a Korean War veteran, and we know so many veterans in our communities that have dedicated and risked their lives and lost limbs, lost their quality of life, because they were out there fighting for our freedom, for our safety. So I do really hate to see that, and I really wish that our protesters or /rioters or whoever's doing this would really be cognizant that veterans memorials should not be targeted, because it's these are individuals that there's still people out there behind the scenes. We're able to live the lifestyle and speak what we speak and think the way we think because of the hard work that these individuals do, and when they're across overseas, or when they're in other countries, most of the time their families are living without a father or without a mother, without a son, for months and years, so that they can keep us safe, so that we can behave the way we do and think the way we do.
Well, my closing thought would be on what's happening with the virus. What's happening with the virus now, and with the mayor and Commissioner Hidalgo, Mayor Turner and Commissioner Hidalgo coming out, re-emphasizing the people that we need to be wearing masks. Now, I know we're in here together, we're not really practicing distancing, but hey, we've got a little wear and tear on the tires, so hey, we can take that chance. But we want to encourage people to practice safe distancing and also to wear the mask. And one of the worst things I see happening out there, still happening out there, are guys who don't wash their hands. When they
Guys,
come out of
please
the
wash
restaurant,
your hands.
I'm gonna let you.
You posted about that, didn't you?
Oh, yeah,
Quit
I
being
saw
nasty and wash your
yeah.
hands.
And I didn't tell the other part of the story. The owner of the store put the guy out of the store.
Oh my
We found out
gosh.
that he had not washed his hands. He told him to leave the store.
And you better be singing happy birthday too. Don't just turn the water on and splash around in it.
Right.
Like wash with soap and water.
He didn't wash his hands, came out dibbling and dabbling over in the candy area, putting his hands all over the place. So we want to
Oh, my
encourage
goodness.
people to be safe and to be aware of the people around you. And again, you don't see any masks on us right now, but all of us have masks. We've got masks, and we wear. I keep 2 in my vehicle, and I wear them in places where I'm going around a lot of people or some people that I don't know. I put the mask on and try to be safe. But if I'm correct, the mayor, Turner, and Commissioner Hidalgo agree wholeheartedly that we should be wearing these masks.
And they've actually mandated, with the support of the governor, that businesses have to mandate that their employees wear the masks, and so they're still leaving it. For private citizens, they're still leaving it. It's a personal choice, but yeah, I mean, for safety purposes, wear the mask. I mean, it's not going to hurt you. It is hot. It's uncomfortable. But I love being out and about, and I'm always posting pictures. But you have to be safe, and you have to. I mean, good hygiene. Come on, like, why is there any question about using good hygiene?
And they had soap in the restaurant.
Yeah.
I know you were going to say they didn't have any soap or towels. No, they had soap and towels.
Yeah.
The guys just walked straight by.
Well, COVID or no COVID, if you think about that, like, I'm a hugger and I'm a handshaker, and I love people, and I think, like, it kind of makes me think, like, oh my gosh, how many hands have I shaken? Where have your hands been, for God's sake? It's like.
And see, one of the strangest things to get used to now is if you go out to eat in a restaurant and the people have masks on.
Yeah.
They're waiting on you. That is, but hey, the food is great, and some of us are going to not give up everything.
Right. Well, and Dave lit up a cigar here, so I might check out for a second.
Smells
because
funny.
It smells really. I like the smell of
You know, it
cigars.
smells funny. It's just funny. It's not a regular cigar.
It's one of those marijuana smells.
We're not going to discuss that right now. So my daughter is in the food service industry. She's a waitress and a food server, and so it is a concern, and I told my daughter, if anything, I believe that I have a pretty healthy immune system, as my son does, but my daughter gets the weirdest diseases that, like, doctors have never heard of. Like, one time she had strep throat and her tonsils started bleeding. Just all kinds of weird stuff. I said, if anybody's, I worry about her because she's around people that are not wearing masks.
Well, I know we all have different things that we do. You talked about the immune system. Well, give me something unusual that you do that you may think others don't do in regards to fighting. You take a certain type of juice? Or
I ate dirt when I was a child. So we were very poor. My family were very poor. So we probably, I don't remember, we probably didn't have a lot of toys. And then they were immigrant farm workers. So we played outside in the dirt. And my brothers and sisters and I were making mud pies. And I think I have 3 brothers, so they probably made us eat them at some point. And, I think that I'm a personal big believer that we have to let children be children and play and get dirty, and you clean them up. And, but I'm not going to call anybody out here, but if she's watching, she knows what I'm talking about. But she's very germophobic, and her child is 10 now, and she has all kinds of allergies because she couldn't touch nothing, she couldn't, and I think that we have to build up our immunities, which with COVID too, I think we have to build up a certain level of immunity.
Well, just a little secret. When I feel like my throat is itching, I just drink some vinegar.
Oh,
Have
really?
you ever tried drinking vinegar?
I do, but it
Yeah.
burned.
It
I probably drink too
it
much.
clears up whatever is happening down there. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's what happens. So I mean, so maybe one day we'll get a doctor in here, a medical person that can share with us a little bit more about some of the safe things in regards to how to fight this virus, because the numbers are up in Houston,
Yeah.
as you know, and the hospital numbers in regards to beds are way up there also.
Yeah. Well, we have to start wrapping it up. It's about that time, and we just have such a great time, touching on these subjects for you guys. So I hope everybody continues to tune in.
Don't forget to celebrate Juneteenth.
Don't forget to celebrate Juneteenth, which is tomorrow.
Right.
Right.
I know you don't do it, but get you a good, I'm going to try to get Art to do it. Get you a good cold piece of watermelon.
Oh, I will.
A
Heck yeah.
good cold piece.
I got some in the refrigerator.
I know you do. I see.
Heck yeah.
Thank you.
So keep tuning in, invite your friends, download the Bnet app on your phone, or you can listen online on your laptop. Keep watching us on Facebook Live, and the power is in the people, guys. It's power to the people. You are the power. It's not government. Government are only there because we allow them to be there. So remember that if you have the power, not the government, they only have enough power. What power we give to them. So thank you for listening, and thank you, Dave.
Thank you, Dave.
For having us.
Thank you, Art.
3 o'clock Thursday next week.
Make sure to tune in to us again next Thursday at 3 o'clock.
That's our
3 to
engineer.
4.
That's
And
our engineer.
I think upcoming, we may have Sheriff Ed Gonzalez as a special guest. I don't think we've confirmed it yet, but he's coming soon. So
That's
he
your
might
department.
be here with us.
That's your department. Get Trump here.
We're working on it.
I know.
You dying to make me
They've
smile.
been live
Oh,
from
you're
the
doing
Houston Mothership Studios of Bnet Radio. Thank you for listening.